You followed the training, you've built the skills, and you became the therapist. But now you're wondering, is this it? Beyond the therapy room is where we have the conversations most therapists are thinking, but not saying out loud. There's Sky, psychologist and mentor, and Ali, counsellor and tantric healer, bringing two perspectives, clinical and intuitive, structured and expansive. We talk burnout, identity, spirituality, business, relationships, and what happens when you stop playing by the rules that you were trained in. This is for the therapist who knows there's more. Two different paths, two different perspectives, but the same truth. There's more available to you than the box you were trained in. Hey, thanks for joining us again for another episode of Beyond the Therapy Room. Now, last week we were talking about in our episode some of the mistakes, the common mistakes we've made or we've seen other therapists make. And we thought it would be really cool if we gathered today and talked a little more around who we actually need to become in order to be a successful clinician who also owns a business. So it's not every day you get to sit next to somebody who's been here and done that and owns a very large successful psychology business. So I wanted to start the podcast today, Sky, by asking you, was there a pivotal time in your journey where you can kind of say you shifted from being the clinician who sees the people to a business owner? Like, was there a time in your life or a chapter when that mindset kind of landed for you, that it wasn't just about being in the room and doing one-on-one therapy? You actually had, a vision or a mission or a purpose to grow a business more.
I think for me, it was quite a way into running a business that I actually then realized I was a business owner. And I think this is true for a lot of health professionals that I talk to, is that we go into business being the health professional, not the business owner. And so when I started up in Sydney and then even at Rarilla, I feel like, because I think you mentioned in one of the episodes, I was doing a lot of it myself.
Yes.
That it still felt very insular to me. Therefore, I was still the health professional and the helper and doing all of the things. And it wasn't until we moved to Albion Park and we had more rooms, we hired full-time admin, that I had this light bulb moment one night of like, oh fuck, I actually own a business. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And there was that bit of identity shift too, between good girl, people pleaser, like helper, to fuck, what does it mean to run a business, and what do I need to bring forth within me to actually have it be successful?
Yeah, because what I'm hearing there is, for a period of time, your business was successful and it's growing and you're still functioning in it as the clinician and the business owner. But when that expansion phase happened for your business and you were looking for a bigger location during the COVID lockdown times or just after that, I got to witness that too, that growth phase for you. And it sounds like that's when it really clicked in that you needed to actually lead this a little more, and you had to access deeper parts of yourself to be able to drive that. Like, who am I employing? Who do we need? Like, cleaner, receptionist,
all the things,
right? So that you didn't have it all just on you. Like, because like we said before, in order to be able to continue on with your own growth and business, you might need to delegate some of those out to other people. Yeah.
And I think something that I've probably witnessed in both of us, and I think other professionals can probably relate to this as well, is that your nervous system starts out being safe at a particular level of business, in terms of how many clients you can see, in terms of how much income you can come in, how much you can hold.
Yes.
And I feel like I actually, now looking back, had to go through that process of being like the solo in a room at the church, that I was renting a little space in this dingy little thing, to actually then growing to there's 10 rooms here and so many clinicians. Because if I just jumped from there to here, I think it just would have been so overwhelming that I would have just shut shop.
Yeah, you may not have been able to sustain it.
Yeah, and I think we don't realize that our emotional capacity, just like we teach our clients, right?
Yes.
We need to build that through growing our business too.
Yeah, and it's through those micro moments or those chapters, or, even just that stretching ourselves a little bit, dipping our toes in and out, that we get to move through those seasons, don't we?
Yeah.
And like we always say, we're exercising a muscle within us, and that muscle is around being able to learn new skills or let go of old patterns, or choose a new way of doing something, like problem solving something that is more conducive for your nervous system and the business growth.
Yeah.
So that can be really hard. And for me, what I tend to come back to in these changing seasons or chapters is, for me, it's like I have to have enough trust in myself to be able to sit with uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because even now, like with me reducing some of my client load, and that may impact my income, but it also frees up spaciousness and time. That is an uncertain period. What's going to come in next, or how am I going to utilize that time? So self-trust, I think, is a big part of our own personal development that will really grow as we become successful business owners.
Yeah. And I think you talk about it a lot, Ali, of like being with, and I think as clinicians, we've got to be okay with being human. And I think that's also like who we need to become, right? Because I think sometimes we can think, because we're capable, intelligent, we've got the qualifications, we teach clients, that we automatically know what to do in different seasons, or we automatically know how to manage our nervous system, or we make wrong what shows up. And so I think within that, who we need to become is the person who can be with that stuff.
Yeah, because you might have a whole roller coaster of emotions that show up, You're going to feel nervous the first time you press, go on your camera to film yourself. Or
right.
when you actually post it, there's all kinds of feelings that are going to show up. I just moved through a whole lot of grief in transferring some clients onto other people. So being able to sit with your own emotional, emergence as it's happening is so vital, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me, part of growing business has also had me realize, especially ADHD, right? Because we want to, what's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, right? It's like, I've also had to learn that there's some seasons that are slower.
Yes.
And they're the pieces where we're building foundations and we're building structure and systems or whatever it might be, and it's okay to just have seasons where it's same. Because I tended to jump between like, I'm doing this thing, but this thing's not really landing, and now I'm doing this thing, and then that's not really landing, and I'm doing this thing, and it wasn't until I just kind of settled that I actually noticed growth.
Yeah.
And it was kind of counterintuitive to how my brain thought it should look, right?
Yes. But in that, I can hear how you've become a little more comfortable and relaxed with the whole, sometimes we are in an incubation phase, like a caterpillar goes into a chrysalis or a bear goes into a cave.
Yeah.
We are going through these kind of birthings of things, and then they flourish and blossom, and then we have this kind of deterioration or death, those destruction creation cycles are going to happen in business too. So moving with the cycles, being with those seasonal changes for yourselves really, how are you finding that as something different for you? Is it?
I think it at the beginning it was quite unsettling.
It's because it's not what your norm would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Because and it's like, just even when you were talking then, it's like the different seasons that we have, right? Like, love summer, don't really love winter, right?
Yeah.
Can't avoid it though. So it's just learning to kind of be okay with not necessarily liking the season that I'm in.
Yeah, but they all have their place and they're all required for the greater whole of balance, right?
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But don't let that stop you, I think, from actually following through. Because for me, I tend to get, like I've said lots of times, I might get caught up in wanting to know how. While I have got this trust or this, I can sit in uncertainty, I'm a planner.
Yeah.
And the part of me that loves to plan or organise wants to foresee the strategy or the steps to take. And where you've come in super helpful for me as a colleague and a friend is, just go do the thing, Ali.
Yin and yang, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's the part of knowing, like, who we need to become is not always who we are, right? It's like, it's finding those, like me, I'm like, go, 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 go.
Yes.
And sometimes who we need to become is not that we're different, but it's like, I need to access more of Ali and talk to her and maybe get supervision so I can just be in the uncomfortable of like, what is not my normal?
Yeah, that's right. How can I stretch myself in a new way? Or what can I develop in myself or be, admiration or inspiration? How would Ali do it or how would Sky do it? Because for me, like, I'm getting stuck in what I would tell my clients, my advisor space.
Yeah.
And that's my thinking kind of space. And I might even be in my body, my embodiment, my noticer, kind of like really tuning into how do I feel about all of this. And I get stuck with the discoverer or the action part of me.
Yeah.
But you have such a healthy discoverer part where you often will take action really, really quickly. So for me, I'm thinking, well, Sky's discoverer would be out there doing it already. She'd be discovering for herself how that's going to turn out.
Yeah. So it's learning the bits that you need to grow, right? And then
Yes.
learning the bits that you just need to nurture and say, chill for 5 minutes, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you say, you're accessing so many different aspects of yourself or parts of
We
yourself.
always learn different, don't we?
We do. It's lovely to watch others and see how they do it.
And give yourself permission for it to be your timeline in your way and how you need to do it. Because one of the things that we can easily get caught up in is like not only just waiting for someone to give us permission because we're so used to that maybe, but also like giving ourselves permission that it doesn't have to look like everybody else's.
That's right.
Right? And while we're talking there about like I'm doing and you're kind of chilling, like that's actually okay. It's just when we get to that unhealthy part where it stops you in your tracks, or I run too far ahead. It's like we want people to learn, like you get to step into, I don't know, a version of you that feels comfortable, right?
Yeah,
That you,
and a pace that feels like it fits for you.
Yeah, I had no words then, Ellie.
That's where
I was like, I knew what I meant.
I'm listening.
Right?
Yeah. And in doing that, just as you and I have, and you come back to yin and yang all the time, we are very different, beautiful beings.
Yeah.
And we each have such a genuine, authentic nature or essence, which is very different to one another. Like, yes, we have similarities too. But I think that's your edge in business as well, is to really consider who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Let your own beliefs, your values, and even your philosophies for life shine through when you talk with people, because that's what's going to magnetize or attract the person who needs you to you, isn't it?
Yeah. And my thing then was just like, and permission to fuck it up, right? Like I just did then, like you don't, like I ran out of words. Oh, well, because otherwise what happens is we start to kind of be like, oh my God, we have to start again, or we have to do this, or we have to filter it.
Yeah.
Versus like, be willing to fuck it up. Be willing to fail at it. Just learn to fail quicker.
Or show your humanness. You know, I think if you really want people to genuinely connect with you, you need to genuinely be your human, imperfect self with them.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Yeah.
And especially, I think you mentioned last time, like with AI and things, like it's that competitive advantage, right? Because there are, like, you've used this analogy before, I don't know if I can pluck it from your brain, like, you know, the little fish in the big pond, if you're doing it, you know, if everyone's swimming the same way or we're all doing the same thing, like you don't stand out.
That's right.
Right? Whereas the competitive edge isn't about figuring out like the latest, newest, coolest thing, although pretty awesome, but it's about like, what is it about me that stands out? What is it about me that delivers this thing differently? Because I know when I first started in business, I'm like, oh my God, Ali, like everybody online is sharing the same information, right? And I think you're like, yeah, but how does Sky share the information? I'm like, oh, fuck, good question. Like, and this is what we forget, right?
Yeah, that your voice really matters. And even just the sound of certain people's voices will attract me to them because it resonates. Like sound is a frequency that resonates with all of us. And some of us are going to feel more at ease or, you know, comfortable around certain personality types. So it's important to remember just to be yourself.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the names of our first ever online offerings.
I think it was too.
To embrace yourself, wasn't it? Yeah.
And also being the person who gives yourself, and all of these words tie together, but permission to be visible. Right? Because if you want to be growing a business, if you want to be the best therapist you can be, if you want to be beyond the therapy room, whatever that looks like for you, people actually need to know about you. Right? And in order for them to know about you, you need to be visible, like you need to be seen. But if we're showing up in a way that, like you just said, is watered down, or we're performing, and I feel like there's a difference between figuring out who you are and performing.
Yes.
Right? For me, figuring out who you are is like, oh, I'm going to try on wearing the jackets online and see how that feels, or I'm going to do something a bit more casual, or Ali loves to be in fucking nature, or like playing with who you are.
Yeah, and just letting people see that. you know, if you become more comfortable in your own skin, because this is who you need to become. You need to be so okay with what you're sharing and showing people and comfortable that it doesn't matter who you say what to anymore.
Yeah.
You're not monitoring yourself so much, are you?
No, because that's the performing, right? When
Exactly.
we're monitoring, second guessing.
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Yeah, and in that part of being who you are or sharing your essence with the world is when you really have clear values and you know what they are, or you know what your philosophy for life is. You're not thinking constantly about how am I going to brand myself or what am I going to say today.
Yeah.
You just embody who you are and it just comes out in how you speak then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not trying to share this refined, polished version of yourself with the world. You're just happy to be seen.
Something that I think is important to know in business, and I think logically most people know this and equally we forget, is that the business gets to evolve as you evolve.
It's a parallel process.
Right, and sometimes we can get very caught up in this is what the business is supposed to look like versus who am I becoming and how does the business kind of move with me and how do we evolve almost as things together, right? Because who you are in your identity is going to be the bottleneck of your business.
Yes.
Right? And so who you become will also be what your business becomes. And starting to recognize that those two live together can be really powerful.
There's like a symbiosis too, isn't there? Like it's happening, a parallel process.
Yeah.
And as you are growing and expanding personally and your business becomes, you know, more visible or bigger, with it does come bigger responsibilities and things. But I think an important thing to consider is like for you personally, what success is, because it may be very different. Like for me, success, like I said, I started my business to reduce my mama guilt and be able to be a stay-at-home mum and things like that. So success might mean I get Fridays off for self-care and I never have to work weekends. But now my kids are older, I need to redefine what success is because I don't need to be doing that anymore. So success might be more expansion online, sharing the digital offerings that I have created behind the scenes but haven't put out there for the world to share yet. But yeah, what about you, Sky? Like compare from when you first kind of started out in business, first few years, to now. Has your idea of success changed?
I think so. I think originally for me, success was like if I can create a business where I have a caseload of people that I'm seeing and that who actually want to see me and kind of build that reputation in the community, that I am a good psychologist and that my business is a good business, then that was success.
Yeah, so full books and, you know, great reputation.
Yeah, and building rapport with different clinicians in the area.
Yeah.
And I think something that we don't always talk about, that I'm actually okay to talk about, is that sometimes success is also financial. And I think as health professionals, we can shy away from this and we can have it be a make wrong that part of what we want for success is to have income. And, you know, part of what, my husband wanted, my family wanted was like a property. And so part of success for me needed to be financial in order to have some of the things that we wanted.
Yeah, as a family, as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think as therapists, as health professionals, you're allowed to look at success in all of the ways. In terms of like, what does it mean in terms of family? What does it mean in terms of personal development and growth? In terms of community, but also financially.
Absolutely. And again, my whole money story around that's changed from then to now as well.
Yeah.
Because you have certain life goals in different seasons, don't you?
You do.
Your definition of success is going to change with your personal development and business growth too.
Yeah, hence the evolving.
Yes, and letting it change, like being okay and accepting of those changing values and needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's start bringing it home a bit, Sky. Like there's so many different things that we consider when we're talking about how we're going to be successful business owners, or what do we need to access within ourselves to grow and expand beyond the therapy room in new and exciting and creative ways. And I know from experience, we've done things like online groups, we've done group work, we've done retreats and seminars. Podcasts now, yes. So if you'd have asked me a decade ago, would I be sitting here creating a podcast with you? I would have laughed at you and said, as if. There's no way I would do that. But when I think about my business now, and I have Instagram, I have YouTube, I have Facebook, I have a podcast, and I have a website, all of those things just were little stepping stones, as we said before. Like, you just do what you can when you can.
Yes.
And part of growing is just achieving what you can when you can do it. Like, when have you got the time to create those things? And you don't need to have it all at once, do you, as you said?
And I guess part of that too, Ali, is the mindset, right, too, in terms of, like, how you mentioned it, like trust, but like believing in yourself.
Yes.
And I've got really good, not great, but really good at not having things be a make wrong. Right? And I was even talking to my coach the other day. I'm like, oh my God, I've got this webinar and I haven't put as much time into posting online and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and?
Yeah.
Right? And here's the thing, like, we can kind of get all on and it's like, oh, I need to do it this way and this, or I'm not doing it at all. Versus, you already might have a thriving business in terms of private practice, or you might be working in a paid employment and you're wanting to create a business on the side. It's not, oh, I need to jump over here and become a business person 100% before I can do anything. It's like, oh, what parts of me need to grow, like you said, first step.
Yes.
To just start dabbling and playing over here.
Absolutely. And when you said, I need to believe in myself, absolutely you do, but you also need a cheerleader or a team around you that are going to cheer you on. And for me, like, I have beautiful colleagues, but I also have a very close friend who's always calling herself my number one fan, and to have her just continually, like, inspire me to keep creating and keep showing up and keep offering myself to the world is really beautiful driver as well. So knowing that people believe in you is a good thing to keep on side as well, isn't it? Yeah, because I don't know, but I'm kind of noticing, like, with the state of the world, a lot of people still will access one-on-one therapy. Absolutely. There's always going to be a need for that, I believe. But you would have definitely heard people accessing AI as a therapist.
ChatGPT as a therapist,
Yeah. And I guess, you know, makes me kind of consider and think, how can we as a generation of clinicians become the pioneers or trailblazers for what therapy can look like moving forward?
Yeah.
Because, as you say, yes, we've got our ethical guidelines that we need to stick to, but it doesn't mean we can't be creative or innovative in our offerings to the world.
Thinking outside the box, right?
Yeah, and it might mean creating a digital offering or starting a community where people can access support or help in a new way. So, I think it's important to really keep considering all those different ways in which we can support and help each other.
And I think, like you said, it's being okay to share those ideas too, because I know I've had a few therapists and they've, like, almost been, like, a bit kind of shy to share an idea with me because it is out of the box and it is a different way of thinking. And I get just really fucking excited. I'm like, oh my God, that is the best thing ever. Let's do it yesterday.
Yes.
Right? But also I can, like, it takes a lot in your nervous system to be like, oh, I've got this really cool thing and it's different. And so I think just talking out loud to yourself, talking in front of the mirror, talking in the car, like, the more you talk out the thing that you want to do, talk about who you want to become, who you are, the more your nervous system starts to be like, oh, okay, this is us, like, we're okay, and then we can share it with someone. And it's like, I love to talk to myself, people. Talk to yourself more. Praise yourself.
Well, like I say, for me, the biggest thing that helped me become more visible was when we used to do Facebook Lives. And at first, you know, when you listen to your voice on a tape recorder and you hate it.
Oh, I know. I don't.
And then, like, I'd watch those Facebook Lives back. And at first I was really, like, it felt cringy to watch myself. But then over time, the more and more I watched it, the easier it became to watch myself. But also I started looking at myself in new and very different ways. And I'm like, wow, did I really say that thing? Gee, I'm pretty wise. Like, is that actually me?
And that's the thing, like, we're so quick, because if you know me now, I'm like, I will sit there and watch my own TikToks, right? And it's not from a place of arrogance, but it's like, I've got so comfortable now with being okay to do that.
Yes.
Whereas before it was like, we are so quick to criticize and to judge and be like, oh, I shouldn't have wore that shirt, and why didn't I wear makeup, and why did I do this, and why did I say that, and I fucked up the podcast because I ran out of words. But the more you, and you know this as therapist people, the more you expose yourself to something, the more comfortable you feel with the thing.
Hallelujah. Yeah. So if any of what we've said today has inspired you, or, you know, you have intuitively thought about somebody, even if it's not about yourself, but say you know someone who supports humans in some capacity as a therapist, please share this podcast with them. And we would also love it if you would rate and review us.
Oh yeah, is that a thing?
It is a thing. That's how we grow and expand in the podcast world, I found out, thanks to my beautiful
learning
friend.
on the job.
So let's rate and review the podcast. Let's share it with our friends, and let's see you in the next episode.
See you.